Hi, and thank you very much for tuning in to my very first web video. My name is David Grossman, and I'm a mortgage specialist. The name of my company is Mensch. My brokerage is Community Financial Group. We operate out of Toronto, Ontario, and Community Financial Group is based out of Richmond Hill. And at this point, we serve customers mainly in the Greater Toronto area. Ever since I first launched Mortgage Mensch approximately 2 years ago, I've always been looking for innovative ways to communicate with consumers, let them know what I do, and also to find a way to provide valuable mortgage information to consumers. The purpose of this video is to share information with you about what Mortgage Mensch is about, what the ideal is, what it means, and what we stand for. In the future, I hope there'll be additional videos that will provide solutions to specific mortgage problems for consumers. And I would encourage you to share your feedback and let me know if you have any questions so I can address any issues that you may have. Now, most people, I'm sure, know what a mortgage is, but not everyone will know what a Mensch is. So I'm going to give you an example. Of late, there have been a number of reports coming out of the U.S. that talk about mortgage brokers and their predatory practices. I've seen a number of reports that talk about the fact that some mortgage brokers, when they inflate the rate of a mortgage, they'll get paid a higher commission. Well, I wanted to tell you a little bit about how we operate. If somebody comes to me and they qualify for a fully discounted mortgage, I'll suggest to them that they could consider taking a long-term fixed-rate mortgage, because if they're getting a good rate, they could lock it in for quite a few years. In Canada, 5 years is considered a fairly long term. If somebody comes to me and they have a credit problem, I'll recommend that they just consider a 1, 2, or maybe 3-year term, because it probably won't take that long for them to fix their credit. As it happens, we as mortgage brokers get paid less when people take shorter terms. So there's an example of when somebody has a mortgage problem and they need a subprime mortgage that will actually make less money because we're recommending that the client does what's in their best interest, and that is to take a shorter term mortgage. Now, I didn't invent this idea of running a business with integrity, because I know that a lot of people operate their businesses that way, and they don't even advertise that they do. They just do it as a matter of course. But there are some real estate agents, for example, in my business, because I see benches around the town, and they advertise that they operate with integrity and they operate in their customers' best interest. And that's great if they actually deliver. So people say to me, David, that's great. Integrity is important. But why Mortgage Mensch? I mean, not everyone speaks Yiddish, and not everyone is going to understand what it means. Well, let me answer that by telling you a brief story about a great man who lived in our city up until recently, Ed Mirvish, who was known as Honest Ed Mirvish. At one point, Ed decided that he was going to redevelop a cultural building in Britain, which he purchased, and he was going to fix it up. And somebody from the BBC asked a man on the street if they'd heard about this Canadian named Ed Mirvish, Honest Ed Mirvish, and what they thought about him. And the guy answered that he said, I wouldn't trust anyone called Honest Ed. I would watch every move that he makes. Now, Ed was an honest guy. And don't get me wrong, I respect the guy, and he did a great deal for our city. But in this day and age, I don't think that you can truly call yourself honest and expect somebody to just believe you. I can think of many times when I was with clients, and if they didn't fully understand something, I never once have said, trust me. I let them ask, and I explain until they're comfortable with the explanation. Trust is something that is earned. Also, the word Mensch is most meaningful in its original language, Yiddish. Leo Roston, who wrote a book called The Joys of Yiddish, explains it this way. He says a Mensch is someone to admire and emulate, someone of noble character. And that is a great thing to have as a company name, because every day that sets the bar for us in terms of how we need to be conducting ourselves in our relationships with customers, co-workers, and with suppliers. And that's about it for now. So I thank you again for tuning in and for listening. And again, please do share your feedback, and I look forward to communicating with you with future updates.